Hi, I'm your host, Nati Mlikota, and I'm here with 49 Winchester's Isaac Gibson. This episode is brought to you by Demo Me's favorite hard seltzer, Lake Hour. Get yours today. Hello, Isaac. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
We are so excited. You match the set so well. This is perfect.
Thank you. These are my kind of textures. We got a lot of plaid. We got a lot of cactus wallpaper. It's honestly gorgeous down here. Super vibey.
You're right at home.
I know.
I want to start with your friendship with Chase Chafin. How did you guys meet? How did you start making music together? Very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, the very beginning is not. There really is no story about how we met because we've never really. We met before we were old enough to make memories. We met before we were sentient, so he's always been there. It's like a sibling more than a friend. So, yeah, I don't really know a life without Chase. We started playing music at the same time. We started doing everything kind of at the same time. Me and Chase were kind of like twin brothers growing up, really. Next door neighbors, that's how we knew each other, and our families had known each other for a long time. We're from a little bitty town in Virginia where everybody knows everybody anyway. But yeah, me and Chase have been boon companions since day one. Started the band right when we got out of high school with our buddy Bus, and the rest is history, I guess, yeah.
When was the first time you guys sat down and were like, we're going to play an instrument together?
Yeah. I mean, the very first earliest days of it were when we first started playing music. So like maybe 11 years old or something, 11 or 12. We got guitars for Christmas or a birthday or something, and just started plunking around on them. Stuck with it. Got really serious. I think we both kind of got serious about it at the same time. Maybe like 15 years old or something. Playing more regularly, just as in terms of rehearsal and things. Just kind of woodshedding in your room with the door closed, kind of thing. So yeah, that was like the infancy of it all when we started kind of, sharing that creative aspect of our lives with each other in a more deep way, and it brought us closer as friends as we started writing these songs and stuff. So yeah, I mean that's where it all started. It was very it was two kids from Podunk, Appalachia that didn't have a whole lot else to do, but we knew that this made us feel really good, and it brought us a lot of joy. So.
I talk a lot about symptoms of an artist. Were you a performer as a child? Were you a large child? And especially you two, were you guys troubled together in a way where you're like, we got to make something of this?
No, I was a troublemaker. I wasn't into like performance or anything like that. I mean, I was, but it wasn't. It was more like showing off for girls in class, not musical performance. No, the first time that I ever actually sang in front of a human being that wasn't Chase or Bus was the first 49 Winchester show. So that was all just something that was very much done in private in my room. Like, I'm sure my parents heard me throughout my life, but it was never a thing where I was like, hey, let me show you this song that I have or anything like that. They were always extremely supportive of me, but it always just felt like this music and songwriting to me have always been something that kind of came one and the same, and it always felt so personal that it was kind of hard to share at first, you know what I mean? To be 18 or 19 years old and be that vulnerable in front of a crowd of people to really like just bleed your heart out and tell them what you think. Like that takes a little bit of mustering up the courage to do it. But yeah,
was that well received by the people that you were around initially, or was it more of like,
no,
you're
sure.
a dude, go build something? What was the reception outside of your family?
Outside of the family, you mean like in the early fan base, or just like the community?
The community around you, the people that you went to high school with, the people that just the people around.
Well, I mean, when you grow up in rural Appalachia, you're not often told that you can play music for a living. Where we come from, pretty much everybody either works in the coal fields or on the railroad hauling coal. That's like the two major industries, and both of those have pretty much been all but dead since we were born. So that's kind of something that shut down and was taken away. So yeah, I mean, we didn't have that sort of. Yeah, you can do anything. You can be whatever you want to be. Like it's more like, enjoy it while you can, boys, because you got to get to work one day. You got to get serious, man. Life's gonna hit you hard, so enjoy it. And we always just kind of, we never listen to that. We've always had this one like mantra in our mind that's like, I've said it to the boys 10,000 times in the last 12 years, which is, don't quit and don't die. And we always thought that if we could do that, if we could just stick to something, that good stuff would come of it, and I think we've proven that right.
100. I think especially the don't die thing, it seems so simple, but especially in American culture with youth and in growing up in rural areas, it's not the most common. There's addiction, there's all these different aspects that just to stay alive within community is huge, and not quitting is even more. When did you realize that, okay, I'm not going to have to quit. I'm not going to have to give this up?
I don't think that there was ever, I think that's the thing about us is like, we heard it a lot, but we never believed it. So we never had that like epiphany of like, oh, I don't have to listen to them. I think from the jump it was like, we don't really care about that. Like, we're on our own path. We're sort of on our own plane pursuing this thing that not we don't have any blueprint for. Like, nobody in our community was doing this. Nobody from rural southwestern Virginia was out touring in bands and stuff. I mean, there were some people that might have moved from there and went to Nashville and joined a band or something, but even very few of those. Like, it's just not an opportunity that you think you're going to be afforded where we come from. So we knew that we had to make this thing happen from right where we were sitting, right in the middle of the mountains. Like, and that's hard. That's, you know, like, that's not an advantageous place to start a music career. But I think we stuck around long enough. We didn't quit and we didn't die, and good things have happened since then.
Staying in home and making it work from home, again, just what you just said, a lot of people move, a lot of people like try to make it somewhere else, but making it within your community and serving your community in that way is so admirable. And I think that it's easier to be like, these people don't get me, I'm gonna get out of here, instead of being like, these people bred me, there is something here to give.
Yeah, that's how we've always felt. It's, you know, for all of its faults, Appalachia is still a place that we're really, really proud to be from. We didn't want to move and do it somewhere else. Like, we wanted to be torchbearers for Appalachians, and we wanted kids that went to the same school that we did to grow up and say, like, first of all, I don't have to move.
Yes.
Regardless of whether I'm educated, uneducated, anything else.
Yes.
I don't have to move. I don't have to leave Appalachia. I don't have to run off and join the circus. I don't have to go to anywhere else. I can do what I want to do from right here, and it can benefit my community, and it's possible. So that's kind of a thing that we've always taken a lot of pride in, really, is kind of being a torchbearer for kids that grew up without a lot in Appalachia. Because, you know, to be frank, my parents worked really hard, but we were you know, I grew up poor.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. We grew up so poor, we didn't even know we were poor until we were like 16.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just thought everybody lived like that. But yeah, I think it's made us who we are. That place has made us who we are. And I think that the fact that the choice to not leave has really informed our sound. It's informed my own mind and my own heart as a songwriter a lot. So I owe a lot to, you know, our roots, where we come from. That's
a really beautiful sentiment. I really don't see that story play out too much with a lot of bands that we talk to, and it's not because of ignorance, or it's not because of, oh, I'm gonna go make it better somewhere else, but it's just that serving your community and staying, I think that's really important. It's a lot of what the U.S. needs, and I think country music as a genre does that a lot, but especially your genre of country music with the vulnerability in your songs and the subject that you touch, it really does serve whatever teenagers growing up and being like, maybe I don't have to go and work blue collar, maybe I can just really make this work, or in the meantime I can express myself.
Yeah, it's a part of the country that's filled with brilliant creative minds that never get a chance to exercise that creativity, and I always thought that was a shame. So we're glad to be doing something that's like showing people what's up. I'm proud of that. You
very much should be. With the members, so starting off just the two of you, then Bus joining, do you feel that now, being a 6-piece band, how has the dynamics changed in not only performance, but do you feel that everyone has that mentality of basically the morality behind your music is, this is serving a purpose, this is serving a community?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. You know, Bus has really been with us since day one. We started out as just like a 3-piece string band, all acoustic, and it just kind of got meaner and louder and more electrified over the years. But yeah, I mean, there's always been a mantra in our camp that's we're very much like all for one and one for all. So we take a lot of pride in this sort of mission that we have, which is open-ended. There was never a finite goal. It was always just like, push this thing, like just gas in the floor, close your eyes. We're going somewhere, right? Like, let's just see where it is. So that's kind of been the MO from day one, like, buy into the process, understand the culture. And like, the cool thing about being in a band with your best friends is like, there's never any discussion about that. It just inherently happens. You know what I mean? Because I've known all of these guys forever. Like, even the two newest members of the band, Justin and Tim, like, they're from our little local scene. Two of the most brilliant musicians that I knew growing up. Justin's a great drummer. Tim's a piano prodigy. You know, so they're intimately aware of like the circumstances that this band came from, the work that was put in before they got on board, and all of it. So yeah, I'm really, really proud of the culture that we've developed in this band, and how you can take six band members and crew and throw them on a bus together, and nobody for 12 years ever has a crossword with each other. It's an incredible experience.
That's completely
honestly.
unheard of. That is
And it's
that
a
is
wild thing.
so rare.
We don't butt heads. We all value each other's opinions and thoughts and feelings, and yeah, I couldn't be prouder to be a part of a group, than I am of this one.
I've never heard that in my life. I think that's so impressive. It's such a testament to also the morale behind your music. You said that you never had like a full fixate plan on what it was going to look like, but how has the music changed in adding new members and adding new instruments?
Well, it's grown and it's evolved so much. Like, my whole musical life exists within the context of this band. It's the only creative project that I've ever had. That's also true for every other member of the band except for Justin. Justin was in a band called Folk Soul Revival that was a local band back in the day. That was kind of the only thing that we had that was close to a blueprint. So we kind of looked up to those guys a lot. What was your question again? I'm so sorry.
No, you're answering perfectly. No, it's perfect. No, genuinely about adding on members to the band, how the music changed.
I think that, the music's changed because the players have gotten better. Like, we started the band as kids that didn't know shit, you know what I mean? Like, super, super green. We didn't know where to play or anything.
Did you have any formal training?
No formal
That's
training.
sick.
No. I couldn't read music if you held a gun to my head. Like, I have no ability in that way. Everything I do is just what feels like it makes sense to me. What does it feel? What does it feel like? And that's always been what I've tried to do anyway. And the rest of the band too. I think that as we've locked in on that more and more, like, we want to make people feel something. We've toured so much that our chops have gotten better. Like, I think that the growth has just come naturally through just being busy and staying kind of married to that creative process. We've evolved a lot. We're a lot better band than we were when we put out our first record when we were 19, and
But the fact that you've all grown in the same direction is so impressive. I think that's also a testament to staying where you're from and surrounding yourself with people that you're from. What have been collaborators outside of your most recent project that help you define further your sound?
Influences or
it could be influences. I've saw in one of your other interviews that you spoke about your parents being big music lovers and loving the likes of the Eagles and Jimmy Buffett. That's not inherently your sound. So I'm curious to know where that development came from.
Yeah. I think the one thing that sets 49 apart from a lot of other bands in the scene and kind of keeps our sound unique and fresh is the fact that it does come from so many different places, you know what I mean? All of us in the band grew up really into heavy metal and thought that was what we were going to do, for our life when we were 16. And then when I started writing songs, I realized that that lyrical material was not something that really resonated with me. I wanted to be in a metal band because it was cool and it felt mean and aggressive, but I knew that music to me has always been like therapy, and I knew that I needed something just a little bit more, a little deeper that I could sort of hone in on. So I started writing songs, but yeah, the tons of classic rock on the radio when we were growing up, tons of country music around, huge bluegrass influence, of course, in Appalachia. I think that we've just always been like really adamant about not trying to fit into one box at all. Just like, again, play what feels right, play what resonates with you. And if you can take that approach, then other people are going to resonate with it. You know what I mean? And it won't feel forced either. I think that things need to feel natural. I love authenticity. People are always throwing that word around. It gets so cliche to say, "Oh, they're so authentic," but it's the truth. Like, what are you? Is what you're putting out there really you? Because people that are listening to your music, they want to look at you. They want a look at you. They want to see inside of your head. They want to see inside of your heart, and you got to be able to do that.
I think what you're talking about connecting. My background is I'm from Argentina. I am not a big country music fan. I didn't grow up around it. I grew up around a lot of folk. Sure. I was so touched by your music, and I'm not just saying that because you're here. It's just a thing. It's so palpable, and I can tell that it is genuinely coming from like a real place. And it's part of that America that we were talking about earlier, that it's people that don't get a true chance to express themselves because everything is wired up between like elitist behavior or just, for example, musical training. All these things are so gate-kept by money and by access, and you can be like someone that's very poor in New York and you still have a good amount of access to what is considered the things that you need in order to be a musician. So to stay true to your essence, that does read really well, and it reads very true, and it can connect better than, hey, look at me, I look like a country star, I sound like a country star, and I am a marketable thing.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I'm all for marketability, but that's never been my MO.
That's
my
not your
thing,
running force.
No, it's not even the way that I write. Like I've always said, and some people are so taken aback when I say this, but like I've never written a song to make a listener happy, or to give them the song that they were looking for, or to make them dance, or to do anything. I write songs for myself. I write songs to either feel joy, or to feel sadness, or to feel heartbreak, or to feel something deep in a deeper way, so that I can connect with it, I can see it, I can recognize it, and I can move past it. Music's very therapeutic to me, and especially the writing aspect of it is. So yeah, I mean, we're just a bunch of dudes that are swinging the bat as hard as we can, and
It's hidden.
and just refusing to come off of that whole mindset.
Oh my god, I'm so thirsty.
Oh my god, me too, Kate. All this demos is
Right?
making me parched.
Have you ever had a lake hour?
I actually have. I'm having one right now.
Me too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Lake Hour.
Thank you, Rays.
I want to move into Everlasting Lover. The themes that you touch upon in your music are very true to the Americana we were talking about, but also very true to human beings as an essence. And with Everlasting Lover, there's themes of faith, there's themes of being saved, and the music video was really, really touching. I have a couple of questions about the music video specifically. What was the choice of not centering yourself as the main character in the music video?
Well, I think that it's I don't know that this was the actual deliberate choice that I made, but I think that it you know, the topics I think that are kind of hashed out in that song are so universal, that I always sort of envisioned that video being something that was sort of from a third person perspective, and not like a me thing. Mm-hmm. And honestly, maybe it's that the song is so personal to me that it even created maybe a degree of discomfort for me to be sort of in the front of it. You know, I try to always be as open and vulnerable as I can, but I don't know if that might not have been a part of it or not, but yeah.
It's storytelling through a third person.
For sure.
It's still your story.
For sure.
Was, when you're writing that song, what were you going through in your personal life for it to, clearly it's your most successful song and everyone has resonated so strongly with it. There's clear visual impact. So I'm curious about what it was like writing that song, and when did you know that it was finished?
I mean, I was in kind of a dark spot when I wrote that song, honestly. Not any particular reason, just kind of my own choices, and you know, getting a little bit lost in the sauce maybe in terms of the music, and partying a little too much and drinking a little too much, and you know, just kind of straying away from sort of what brought me to the point where I was. And I think that I just recognized throughout my life that every time that happened, that there was always somebody or something that could sort of snatch me out of it. You know what I mean? Whether that's your family, whether that's your friends, whether that's your relationship with God, whatever that might be. Like, I've had that happen to me so many times. Like, you know, you always want to be like big tough man and pull yourself up by the bootstraps. But that's usually not the way that the world works. It usually requires more than that. And you know, as a person who throughout their life has been a little bit self-destructive, I think, maybe especially as a younger man, before I grew up and started getting gray in my beard. I've had people consistently throughout my life that have believed in me and saw something in me and were willing to love me enough to snatch me out of some stuff that I've put myself in.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think everyone goes through things. Recognizing it and getting out is a constant journey. It's not just a one-time thing.
For sure. And
from that, moving on to your most recent song, Slowly. So clearly there's things that are still being battled with. There's specific lines like slowly shaking off the thoughts that trail me like a hound. When we talk about writing music, when we talk about performing in general, it is either something that can be escapism, and I think maybe that goes to, you know, metal is a very substantial genre. I'm not taking anything away from it, but the vulnerability, how literal you are with your songs, with your music, and even with your music videos, what is it that music does to you in that process? Does it alleviate it? Does it make you move on, or does it harp on it, or does it make you forget?
I think it depends on who you are. I think for me, it's always been like, what's better when you're sad than a sad song? Like, that seems so counterintuitive to think like that and to write like that, but like, that's the way that I've always been wired. I think that it's more like, let me just lean into this thing and like, let me just feel through this. Like, I don't think it's the escapism of it as much as it is like the opposite. It's like, I want to feel this. I want to feel it more deeply than I probably should. And for some reason, things like that have always made an impact in my life. That's like the time when I can really realign and sort of self-correct and do stuff like that. So I think really that's kind of always been the thing with the songs, especially the sad ones. Like, there's nothing that makes me feel better when I'm sad than a sad song. And I think a lot of our fan base is like that too.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's a reason we do that. There's a reason we do that as listeners. The reason we do that as artists, to further into the feeling.
Sure. I
think that it's an admirable quality, and that goes back to the authenticity we're talking about, because it would be much easier to write about probably like sex and drugs and rock and roll than to be like, hey, I'm a grown-ass man and this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
You have grown up with your band. You have grown up with your music. What are the main differences that you feel, obviously outside of the amount of people that are in the band and the amount of instruments that you're working with, from playing with, your best friend as a child and then now as an adult grown man, making intentional choices about your legacy musically?
Yeah, I mean, it's come a long way. I know that. Can you rephrase that question maybe one more time?
How do you feel? What are the ways that you notice the growing up of the band most palpable?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that musically it's obvious. Like, you can just see it at first glance. You can listen to one record, listen to our last record, listen to one we're about to put out. It seems like every step we take, we kind of have leveled up our game musically, and for me as a songwriter. But I just think that, like, the way that we've matured, the way that we've quite literally grown from boys that didn't know what they were doing to men that are completely and totally aware of their place in the world and their lot in life and what they have and what they, what's important to them. Like, we've finally honed in on that. A lot of us now have got children and wives, and like, when it started, we were, holy shit, we made $100 a piece. We can all go buy weed and beer. Like, that's how it was. And now it's not like that anymore. It's now we can buy baby formula and diapers and pay the mortgage and this and that. Like, so it's, I don't know, like, the band is so intrinsic to who we are that as the band evolves, our life evolves. And it's like, I don't think that anybody in this band looks at the band and their life as two different entities, two different phases, two different anything. Like, it's always been like, this is our identity. Like, this is who we are. This is what we feel like we were put on earth by God to do. Like, this is our calling. So yeah, I mean, as the guys have matured, everything has changed, I guess, and very much so for the better. Very much so. Do
you credit that growth to your faith? Do you credit that growth to being in community and keeping each other accountable? It could be all of these things.
I think it is. I think it's a lot of all of it. And I have to say that my dad being on the road with us since day one. My dad sold merch and drove the van before we got in a bus. So he's missed 3 shows ever in the 1,000+ shows of 49 Winchester's history. He's like the 7th man, and he's always kind of kept us. I think that we were a little bit too close to a path that was going to lead to a lot of heartache and a lot of destruction when we were young, when we were 20, 21, 22 years old. And I think that the thing that really kept us glued together was my dad. Mm-hmm. So having that presence there, like, we would go out some random city, and the only thing that he ever had to say as we were leaving was, wherever you go, be men of integrity. That's what he said to me 1,000 times throughout our life. So I think that having his presence there has really allowed us to mature and kind of, and have a blueprint for what a man's supposed to look like. You know what I mean? Because there was, a lot of kids in Appalachia kind of raised their self. You know what I mean? I was really fortunate that I had 2 great parents, but I grew up around a lot of people that didn't. So having that blueprint there, having dad there as kind of a backbone and a source of accountability, I think probably kept us alive in our early 20s. So that's a big part of it too.
The situation that you are in as an adult right now is so unique, and like it makes me emotional just because there's so many people that I think need that guidance and kind of deserve that, and they're just so lost. So you're kind of building out a blueprint of your own in order of like how to get to a place in your career where you can still hold your head up high and be proud of the things that you do after so long, and not just be driven by ego, but actually by intention.
Sure.
So those things are really admirable. Talking about, so the most recent single is part of your new album that's coming out. And I'm very interested about the story of collaborating with Dave Cobb. And you guys did this in 8 days?
We did. We cut the whole record in 8 days.
That's crazy.
I know. It's absolutely insane. I think that that's partially a testament to the band, and just the fact that, like, you know, the studio is kind of its own muscle. It's not the same context as playing live. We're so comfortable live. That's always been our home base, you know what I mean? Like, I'm more comfortable on stage than I am in my living room. But the studio is its own muscle, and you only get to flex that muscle so often. So I think that as we've done it more, we've grown a lot. But really, Dave is a huge part of that too, that efficiency and stuff. Like, working with Dave Cobb is Dave is really, truly a brilliant human. He's got a crazy sharp mind, a photographic memory. Like, we live tracked most of this record. Yeah, instead of being so analytical, instead of trying to punch everything and make everything perfect, and like, that's the antithesis of what we do anyway. So we just decided to be even more ourselves, I think, on this record than we ever have before. And Dave's process allowed us to do that. Like, you can't overthink when you're working with Dave. There's not time to. You're working, and it's this frenetic pace. But it also sponsors creativity hugely, I think, for me, as opposed to stopping, being analytical, thinking things through, trying to choose, you know, which fork of the road to go down, blah, 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 this, that. Like, I think, like, at the end of the day, since the best way to experience 49 Winchester has always been to go watch the live show, I think just ripping live takes in the studio is what really made this the best album we've ever made.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of live music. I'm a big fan of kind of underproduced things. I think that especially with certain genres, we don't need much. Things don't need much to work on outside of working with your band and writing a song. So especially for Demo Me, this is kind of perfect for us.
Yeah.
And to that point, let's get to the demo.
Yeah. There was I was digging back through a bunch of voice notes on my phone, and I toyed around with the idea of a couple of things, and then threw them out of my head, and I scrolled all the way to the bottom and started listening from the bottom, and this was the track at the very, very bottom. So this is from 2021, I think. It was actually a song that we thought about. We played live some, completely re-engineered it. It doesn't sound anything like this demo does. A lot of the fans might know the song from hearing it live. But it's a song called The Lesson. And this was like this song in its infancy the minute after it was born. And it's in its rawest form. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And then you can drop that. Kind of looks in your outfit.
Well, heartache ain't the word for what I'm feeling. I felt that way, but not this way before. I feel no need to try and win a battle. I feel no need to even up the score. I feel a burden lifted off my shoulders. It's not that it was you that weighed me down. It's just that I stopped thinking of the bad times. Stop letting your old memory hang around. I used to drink away my sorrow, tried to pour it in a song, but they get hooked and ain't the people who want to sing along. And I lived like that forever, till one day I moved on, and I thank you for the lesson. Now the Sunday mornings just don't feel as lonely as Sunday mornings always used to feel. And if there's really power in forgiveness, I think I found it standing here so still. Yes, I thank you for the sun. It's close. It's almost right. I think I flubbed up a lyric or two, or maybe a little passing chord or something, but that's the gist of the song. We'll throw some solos in it and stuff, and I think it'll be really cool.
That's
That's it.
oh my god.
That kind of like.
Grab the mic. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
That's it. That's like where so many of these songs come from. It's just an idea, and that kind of made me emotional.
Yeah.
That transported me back to the place I was. You know, that was wild. That was cool.
So beautiful. You're playing, right?
Hmm.
There's something about listening to someone play with an instrument and I could see your body moving. That was so special.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's beautiful, guys. Okay, why don't you tell me about what we're really excited about? What is coming up? You're playing a sick show tonight, a sick show tomorrow.
Yeah.
That won't be out till then, but
If you're watching this, you probably missed us
You
tomorrow
probably
night. You missed us tomorrow night at Webster Hall.
how dare you?
You also missed us today at Rough Trade at the record signing. No, we're going to be the thing I think I'm most excited for right now is album release season. We got our new album, Change of Plans, coming out May 15th via Lucille Records, via MCA Records. We're so excited to put it out. It really is, I think, the most important thing that I've ever been a part of creatively. So to finally get it in its full length out to listening ears is going to mean a lot to us. But on top of that, I am fortunate enough to be getting married in June.
Woo!
So we got a big summer teed up.
Yeah.
I get to marry the love of my life. I get to put out the best record I've ever made. It's gonna be a good summer.
We're so up.
Good summer for the boys.
Absolutely.
So soon.
Hell
Yeah,
it's
I
so
know.
soon.
I know.
That's
Don't tell me that.
I don't know. I mean,
You got your dress fitted?
Yeah, I mean we're close.
Okay. Isaac, thank you so much. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for vulnerability. This
For
was
sure.
incredible. We're so grateful.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck tonight.
Thanks.